a YouTube Arbiter G of Atom here, or KG5 IWQ. Interesting piece of radio equipment, or I'll get into that later, but I'm just going to say radio equipment for now. It's not actually radio equipment, it is a, see if you can see that. Let me grab this little light here. Radar test set AN/UPM6B. 115 volts. Yeah, 50 to 1,000 volts alternating current. Equipment serial. Don't worry, it's not scratched out. Let's see here. 5E61. So, just a lot of wear and tear on this thing because that's an old one. But I believe this was Vietnam. But anyways, yes, this is a radar tester. So I believe this is something that they use to calibrate as well as zero in or adjust radar parameters depending on what you used. I mean, I'm extremely new to this thing as well. I'm not too certain what most of it is because it's all analog, big time. There's tons of vacuum tubes in here, and I'll get that open in a sec. But this set weighs 65 pounds exactly. I have put it on the scale, so it's a heavy piece of equipment. And here we have our volts, and then we have our peak volts. And there's a probe that goes to this thing right there. And on the probe it says peak volts 2,000 volts. So this thing does something pretty intense. And then as for parts and what it does, let's see here. Interesting, I didn't know the radar tester sets required or had video outputs. So we have coded video right here. And then video out mod in is that orange one right there. And that's still a BNC connection. So, and then we have different sync in, sync out, video in, which I want to hook that up to a TV and see what it does. HP in, RF in, that's radio frequency. SG in, SG out. Now the interesting about SG in and out is this guy right here. Why does it need this? This is bridged. I don't understand why. And here we have frequency. Look at that. That is so analog. But this is this frequency. I don't know what this one says because it's really faded out. But this knob controls that knob. So we got SIF and then normal, or SIF and then normal. Oh, that's normal. SIF, power, high and low. If I turn it on high, it'll blow the fuses, which are these guys. Don't want to blow fuses. 2 ground outputs. But I'm still extremely getting used to what this thing does. And then here we have our test selector, and this is basically test what these do. External video, transponder, and beacons. And here we have interrogator responsers, I believe it is. Transmitter power mode, receiver XMTR on, receiver XMTR off. You know, just tons of different settings on this thing, and I have absolutely not one idea what they do. So I'm very interested in finding out. And this guy, I don't know what this guy does. It's output load, I'm assuming. I think that says load. So, and this is rated in microvolts and decibels below 1 volt. And then we have wave meter frequency, and it's still got the lights working in there. But just for a minute, I will take this thing, open it up, and show you the insides, because there is a very high RF exposure. Okay, this is the inside of it. We have 2 big rectifiers. This is our RF bulb, or RF tube. This one does all the big time RF amplification, I believe, because it glows blue. And then we have all vacuum tubes on this side. Interesting enough, they are all labeled United States Navy. So, very interesting piece of equipment. But yeah, vacuum tubes, relays. So it's a big ball of joy for people that enjoy. Man, look at that thing. So, but I'll go ahead and flip it on here real quick. Just, oh, if I can get that back on. Sorry for right now. Okay, I'm gonna turn that light off, and I'm gonna turn power on here. Gonna start seeing some of these tubes glow up. Alright. Let's see how long we can go before we blow the fuse. Oh, I can hear the RF. Ooh, that's a little bit of a buzzing noise. There's our RF right there. Don't want to get too close to it. But there's the inner workings on one side. I'm gonna put that power back to low. And then here's the other side of it. BNC connection right there. And the last side of it, big time wiring cables. But yeah, that is an old radar tester. Alrighty guys, this is Arbiter Juvatum. KG5 IWQ 73.